name's Kathy A, and today I'm going to do a special show about Kat Von D. Now, her cosmetic line came out through Sephora. She has a partnership with them, and if you're not familiar with Kat Von D, she is actually a tattoo artist, became quite famous by having a television series all about her tattoo shop and the people who come in to get tattoos. And you could see her artistry was absolutely beautiful. She could draw portraits of people, she could do any kind of object, and she did beautiful writing as well. She's a very talented person, and she's very complex. She's a little on the edgy side, so I was trying to figure out how I would work this kind of dark, kind of Gracie slick thing she has going on with my Doris Day persona, you know, so. But the makeup is very high quality. It is, her eyeshadow palettes are quite famous. She has wonderful assortment, it's incredible payout, and the line is very unusual, but the packaging is some of the most beautiful in the industry. It's absolutely gorgeous. Even the tube with her, you know, eye primer in it is pretty. Everything is pretty. It's just gorgeous. And I love this. I mean, look at this. And the colors are interesting, unique, and I figured, how am I going to work this into my 56-year-old face? Because I don't think that my age group is really the target audience here. I think it's more teens to 20s to early 30s, a little on the gothy, edgy side, rock star girl kind of thing. So I did make it work, I think, and I tried several different lip looks. Some of the, isn't this pretty? God. Some of the colors are just a little too strong, I think, for people who have older complexions. I found a gorgeous blush, a gorgeous bronzer, and this very unusual powder foundation. Most of her stuff, I think, because it's geared towards young people often have sweaty, oily complexions, so a lot of the stuff is geared towards that type of thing. So it's a mattifying kind of effect. All of her makeup seems to have this kind of mattifying effect, which can wreak havoc if you're older and you have dry skin. But this powder foundation went over my skin so nicely, it actually looks great. And I think with the proper highlighters and blush and everything, you can really put the glow back in and really make this work, and it lasts all day. So I'm just so impressed with this line. I really love her stuff. And now it's limiting because you can only get it on Sephora or Sephora online, and it is a little on the pricey side, some of it. I wanted to do this line so that I could do, this is called Sinner. This is it looks like a cigarette lighter. Isn't this precious? And you open it up, and here's your spray. You know, this could have smelled like dog poo, and I would have bought it because I just love this packaging so much. It's just so cool. And it doesn't smell like dog poo. It's not bad. It's generic, fancy department store fragrance smell. There's nothing totally special about it, but it's not bad. And it doesn't turn pongy on my skin later. You know, some of them can get that kind of Woolworth's cheap cologne kind of smell to them. You know the one I'm talking about. This does not do that. This is kind of a nice, nothing special though. It's not, you know. So first we're going to do a short history of the brand and about Kat Von D and who she is and where she came from. Give you a little more interest in the brand, and when we come back I will do a full face tutorial from start to finish, from my freshly showered, moisturized face to this. So I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Kat Von D was born Catherine von Drakenberg in Mexico in 1982. Her parents were both from Argentina, and they were missionaries visiting Mexico. Spanish is Kat's main language. They moved to California when Kat was only 4, and Kat's father remembers her climbing underneath the pews at church and coloring for the whole sermon. Kat's grandmother, Clara, was an exceptional art and music lover, and she trained Kat and her brother and sister to play classical piano. This love of classical music has stayed with Kat. She has several tattoos in his honor, and her lipstick and eyeshadow palettes have names like Fur-Elise and Ludwig. Young Kat was highly influenced by the artistic and cultural community of her Latino area and was especially taken by the graffiti. She filled sketchbook after sketchbook with drawings and figures, and she became quite a great artist. She was obsessed with Anna Nicole Smith, who was a popular model at the time in magazines and ads, and she tried drawing her face over and over again until she got everything just right. By the time she was 12 and listening to punk rock music on the radio, she and a friend decided to give each other tattoos. She gave her friend this one, the Misfit Skull, and she realized her love of tattooing. She quit school at 16 to become a tattoo artist, and she soon became famous for her detailed and beautiful work. She caught the eye of the producers of Miami Ink., which was a TV reality show about both the customers and the artists at a tattoo shop. Now, Ami, who was the owner of the shop, had a bit of a falling out with Kat, who was becoming quite popular, and she left Miami after 2 seasons, but she had become quite an accomplished tattoo artist. So TLC decided to create a show for her. She opened up LA Ink., which was actually her Hollywood tattoo shop called High Voltage. It became the set for her own Miami Ink. Type show. The show was a showcase of Kat's talent and her co-workers. In 2001, she married Oliver Peck, who was also a very talented tattoo artist, and together they got into all kinds of hijinks. When they divorced in 2007, Kat, newly single, started to dating a plethora of men, including Steve O, who was famous for the TV series Stunts Jackass. And also she dated Alex Orbison, who is the son of Roy Orbison, famous singer. Around this time, she also dated Lem from Motorhead, and she had a 2-year affair with Nikki Sixx. Kat wrote a book about her life, which up to now had been quite interesting. The shop was famous, and she was very famous. She was interviewed in magazines and on TV shows. She entered the Guinness Book of World Records competition for the most tattoos done in a 24-hour period. She got 400, but then the following year, her ex-husband, Oliver Peck, got 415. Kat's tattoos also graced guitars and packaging for special products, and she even had a skateboard line that she worked on. Her show was a top-rated smash. She caught the eye of Jesse James, who was famous for a Chopper series on TLC. They dated, fell in love, got engaged, and she got a tattoo put on her side of him as a child. He's formerly married to Sandra Bullock, and it was a big controversy when she discovered he had cheated on her. Well, of course, he cheated on Kat, and they split up. She actually announced their breakup in a tweet. And then she underwent the painful process of removing that tattoo that was on her side of Jesse James. Kat licked her wounds and moved on. She was getting quite famous amongst celebrities. Beyoncé, Dakota Fanning, Demi Lovato, Denise Richards, and Lady Gaga. Our guys from One Direction, Dave Navarro, that's his mom on his arm, Ewan McGregor, and that's the rapper Eve painfully getting her tattoo. Miley Cyrus got several tattoos from Kat, including one of her grandmother on her arm when she was younger. They're very close. She had the Rolling Stones put on her feet, and then this very unusual old heart drawing was translated into a tattoo. Kat Von D caught the eye of Sephora representatives, and she was asked to do her own makeup line. Of course, she's already excellent at artwork, and she has that eye for color and style, and they thought the edginess of her would attract a new audience. So the Kat Von D line was launched. Kat has full control of both the product and the packaging, and many of her famous tattoo designs can be fine etched in the boxes and the actual containers the products are in. You can really see her artistry in the Monarch and the Chrysalis palettes, and she also has perfumes out. The line is definitely huge, and she makes special personal appearances in different Sephoras, and she's got videos on the Sephora website demonstrating how to use the makeup. Kate met and fell in love with electronic music sensation deadmau5, also known as Joel Zimmerman. The two were crazy about each other and dated on and off for a year. He proposed to her on Twitter and she accepted, and they have matching star tattoos just below their eyes. And this is the ring that he tweeted to her, and she actually had it changed over into a black diamond, which she sported. Their happiness was somewhat short-lived, and they broke up. And also, LA Ink ended its 4-year season. But Kat remains quite busy at work, and she's actually had an art gallery opening. She featured some of her own works. It was a solo art show, and her art is quite popular amongst collectors. She opened up an art gallery called Wonderland right next door to her tattoo shop. She features some of her favorite artist drawings. Now, she did do a charity shoot for PETA, and she's very involved with animal rights. Her makeup is, of course, cruelty-free, and her line at Sephora continues to be really popular. Now, Sephora had a little bit of a controversy going on. In November of 2013, they did something they haven't had to do before. Kat released a lipstick, what she called Celebutard. It's a nudie pink, and she devoted it basically with in mind Paris Hilton, Khloe, Kim Kardashian, you know, the kind of thing. Well, people went nuts, and they pulled everything from the shelves. And Kat said, you know what, at the end of the day, it's just an effing lipstick. But it did raise a lot of fuss, and the irony is, on eBay, the opening bid is about $50 for a tube of it. It's quite famous now. Even with this glitch, Kat's products still remain to be some of the most popular at the Sephora stores. And Kat herself is still hardworking with her art, but she considers herself family first, and her mom is one of her most important people. She has her picture tattooed on her shoulder. She's also very close to her father and often gets together with her sister and her brother. The Kat Von D makeup line is truly the best Sephora has to offer. She is just so cool. So cool. I am not worthy. I am not worthy. I have a tattoo, by the way. I have a tattoo on the back of my neck. I got it when I turned 50. When I turned 50 years old, I wanted to do something totally rebellious that I'd never done, a bucket list kind of thing, and I got a tattoo. So it's a big thing on the back of my neck going down my back. It's a pile of autumn leaves, and there's spiritual symbols in them, and there's falling leaves above, and like it's the autumn of my life. There's a music symbol, and there's like an Om symbol, and there's like a protection symbol, and they're nestled in the little pile of leaves. So it's an interesting, and there's lots of oranges and reds and things, and I can't see it. So I don't know how bright it was of me to put it on the back of my neck so I can't see it, enjoy it, but my husband says it's quite interesting. That's probably TMI, I'm really sorry. Let's go into the tutorial because this was a lot of fun, this line, and I actually wish I had bought a few more items. I know that her locket setting spray is just outstanding, and in both places they were out of stock. Anyway, here we go into the tutorial through the magic of video. Let's go back in time. La 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 la. Alrighty, here's the whirlwind tour of Kat Von D. First we're going to start off with Sinner Perfume. I have the choice of Saint or Sinner, and I'm telling you, I just love this. It looks like a cigarette lighter, has a really nice kind of department store scent. Took a few pumps there to get anything out, but I figured I would just have a nice waft of that while I put the rest of the makeup on. Starting off with Laura Geller's Spackle Face Primer, because I forgot to get the Kat Von D primer. I'm really sorry, but I've heard that her primer is very good. Letting that dry off. Now this is the High Voltage Eye Primer, and it really is, you just need a little bit. It's got a bit of color pigment to it, so it really takes out any kind of lines or discolorations you have. I just put way too much. Oh my goodness. About a third of what I put on my eyes. It really does latch hold of the makeup too. Now we're going to do the Locket Tattoo Concealer, and this is in light. And even on the packaging, it's her gorgeous tattoo designs. And I'm just striking the underlines and the age spots and the blemishes around the nose. It's very pigmented. It's a really nice concealer. And I always go around my mouth trying to hit those lines that are there. I get all kinds of stuff wrong with my face. And some age spots up there, just for fun. Okay, this is the Locket Powder Foundation. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to try that for a change. And beautiful packaging. Now it comes with a sponge, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use my Real Techniques brush to buff it in. And it's going on quite smoothly. It does not sink into my wrinkles. I'm pretty pleased with that. Although I think the color's a slight bit dark for me, it is giving my face a little life. I find that with a lot of brands, if they've only got a few shades in something, the lightest shade sometimes is a little dark. But if you take it all the way down the neck and any exposed skin up there, you should be okay. And it blends rather nicely. Okay, now I'm doing the other side. I'm actually not slamming it into my face as hard as it appears. It's really just kind of swishing it along the top, and it's really nice, even for older skin. Now we're going in with the blush, and this color is called Truth, and it's actually a beautiful shade. And there's that packaging. It's an raised edge packaging, and this is a color that would look good on most people. I really like it a lot. It's highly pigmented, so you only need a little tap, but I think it's a very nice natural glow. It really surprised me that she had a color like this. For some reason I thought she'd have some wild colors. Well, she does have some wild colors, but I didn't get them. Yep, I like that. That's pretty good. Now we're going on to the Face Shaper Bronzer, and this is Shady Business number 1. There is a darker shade called Shady Business number 2. But I had to give the lighter one. And it's a nice matte. There's only a very slight sheen to it. It's a satin matte. So I shouldn't have said it was a matte. It's not a flat look at all. And it blends very nicely. Even though I'm not blending it very nicely, it does blend very nicely if you work at it a little bit. Taking that jawline out there. Okay, Chrysalis Eye Palette. I'm actually going to use that for a highlighter because I just love using shimmery eyeshadow as highlighters. I think it works really nicely on the cheeks. And I'm just going over it. I thought it was a little strong, so I'm going over it with the matte. But it does give a nice lightness to the inner corners and highlight area of the cheeks. So it's pretty good. God, I love her makeup. Just putting a little on the Cupid's bow and in the third eye area, down the nose a little bit, putting that brightness towards the center of my face. Just trying a little bit more, and see how easily that blends in. It gives your face a little more dimension to do this, rather than just throwing some blush on. I'm trying to add some in there, but I got a little close to my crow's feet. You don't want to do that with shimmers. Alright. Now we're going into the eye palette, and this is the Ladybird palette. Look at that beautiful etched box. It's a really high quality compact. Now these are all matte shades, and actually probably one of the best compact palettes for older people. This is Vespertine. This is a very light shade that I'm putting on the lid first. And I just take a little at a time and build it. I don't like to put a big honking lot on because it can get really powdery that way. And I'm just putting a little of the darker shade on there. That's a Ren holder. You have to be careful with the brush sizes when you're working with your crease. You don't want anything too big because you don't have a whole lot of real estate up there in your eyelid and crease area to work with. I'll try to point them out on the actual palette when I pull them up. I forget sometimes. I get caught up in the fun. I really love playing with eyeshadow if you hadn't noticed. Okay, now we're going to try another. This is the Chrysalis palette, which is one of her newer palettes. I just love this. The shadows are listed on the back. It's got a nice mirror, and then look at this. 3 big highlight and base shades. Now this is called Graphic Nature, this color, and it's kind of a light gray silver color. I'm going right over the other color with it. Why not? What the heck? You know how I am. And then Tournay is the name of this darker purple. I'm putting it on the very outer corner of my eye. I will be blending this, so it's okay if it's a little sloppy right now. And I'm blending that out by my IT Cosmetics brush. That eye primer really held those shadows on, so it made it actually a little harder to blend these colors, but normally they're very easy to blend, but it's just that I had so much on there. Mezzanine is that nice pretty kind of bright blue. I'm just putting it down in the lower part of my outer lid. And I think blue can really add a pop of color, as long as it's not on your whole lid. You know, the old joke about wearing blue or green eyeshadow, it's a very 70s thing. So I try to avoid too much of a stark look with that blue. So I'm just blending it all out, and you can see how it kind of melds into the other colors. Taking my finger and just hitting that little entombed color, which is kind of a bright violet, and just hitting just on the outer edge of the other darker color I just put on. And you can see that really adds a lot of color pop, just that little bit. See me looking and deciding what to put on. Oh, I'm going to show you all my colors that I'm working with. With these two palettes, you can pretty much do anything. From the Ladybird palette, this is the Susie Sue shadow. It's kind of a charcoal And Susie Sue, of course, was an 80s goth alternative artist, one of my favorites. And from the Chrysalis palette, Lunar Light Shadow, which is the center large, light, silvery gray one. It's a very sparkly one. Just add a little pop to my inner lids. Now I'm doing a very bad tight line with the Autograph Eye Pencil. This color is called Immortal Love, and it's kind of a dried blood color. It's a brownish red color. I hate tight lining, can you tell? So already you're seeing me pulling out my eyes with these colors, and I'm just using my Black Milk is a nice transition color. It's actually a pale tan. It's an odd color name. Light Like Shadow is that pale pink large base color. And now I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in Ash Blonde because I forgot to get the Kat Von D eye pencil, and I apologize again. A lot of the shops that I went into, the Sephoras in my area, didn't have the full line. I'm not going too crazy with the eyebrows. I really try to keep it kind of natural. Just going over it with a little of that Harlow shadow just to add a little more depth to my eyebrows. I love to use eyeshadow in my eyebrows. I also like to use it on the cheeks. Now I'm curling my lashes. I'm counting to 8 on each side, but this is in fast motion, so you don't have to wait. Now this is called Immortal Lash. This is her mascara in Puro Amor, which is a black mascara. It's got a red wand, which I love, and it's got one of those little torture balls on the end, and it is very spiky. It feels like, I don't know, little sticks going into your eyes. It's actually a very uncomfortable mascara, but it really builds a beautiful lash. And that little, I hate those little balls on the end. I know that people like them because they think they can reach those little tiny corner lashes, but I always wind up poking myself in the eye. The formula is really nice. It lasts all day. It does not run. It does not leave little dings on your eyelids. It's a great formula and a nice mascara, so just because I'm not a fan of the wand, I don't want you to be discouraged from it. And I love the red wand. There's just something about it. It feels kind of, I don't know, edgy. It's an experience putting makeup on with this stuff. It didn't take long actually to build a pretty good full and long lash. So I was happy. It was much better and easier than a lot of other mascaras. So I'm just brushing away any fallout, which there really isn't because the shadow magnet that I put on there really held everything. Checking the face, the edges, make sure everything's blended. Okay, lip liner. I have to use my Tarte Amazonian Clay Universal lip liner because I didn't get a Kat Von D lip liner. Again, apologies. Now this is Painted Love lipstick in Agatha. It's a very similar shade to the Celebutard. And it's a little pale. It's got that 60s vibe going. So, it's okay, but I think I'm going to add something to it. I'm taking my hair out and I'm going to add some pop to this. This is the Everlasting Liquid Lipstick. The color is called Berlin, and it is a color I would never, ever normally use. It goes on like silk. It's absolutely a wonderful feeling lipstick. However, I'm not a fan of these bright, harsh lipsticks, and I don't think they look that great on older faces. So, yeah, I'm going to take it off. It's quite a good stain, so those of you who like this color are going to love it because it's stained. So I'm going to go over the top of it with that lighter color Agatha to see if it tones it down. And it does, actually. It's more to my liking as this color. But you know what? I'm going to take everything off and put another color on. putting the Agatha back on, and I'm going to surprise you this time. I'm going to use eyeshadow over the top. The first one is Cleopatra, and you can see it makes a nice desert brown. So you can use eyeshadow to alter your lip color. Now I'm using this pink over the top of that. That's called Lifelike, and then Luna Lights right in the center. And I've made a very unique lip color. And then you could really just put a clear gloss over the top of any of these at any point. Putting a little bit more of the pink over the top of that. And I've layered like 4 lipsticks. What the heck? So here's the finished look. This is Kat Von D, all Kat Von D except for the Anastasia brows, which, you know, and the, it was a lot of fun doing that with the lipstick because, you know, it was like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and this is too light, and the I mean, this is just way too light, and online it looked deceiving. It looked like it was a light kind of peachy pink, and so it's not. But it's pretty on its own, but it's very dry. It needs a gloss of some sort. So when I bought the gloss, I bought the lightest gloss, and that's this. And holy cow. And it's just a gorgeous gloss. It's not for me, but it's a gorgeous gloss. Holy cow. It just spread like satin, and it lasts. It stained my lips. Actually, I had to keep covering them because it stained them this color, and that's just a little too out of my comfort zone. So I think it looks way too harsh wearing, see, which I can't get it. It's a little out of my comfort zone to wear a color like that, so unfortunately, folks, that's not going to happen. Anyway, that's today's video, and next week I'm finally going to do Paula's Choice. I have had quite a struggle with the products. I'm really disappointed in that line, so it should be a fun video for you to watch because I'm sure a lot of you are curious about the Paula's Choice cosmetic line. And anyway, have a wonderful week and have a beautiful day, everybody. Take care. Toodles. Yeah, that's the ticket. Oh crap, it's not coming off.